Hello and welcome to Budget Brass Tacks, our special series on Budget 2009. In this show, we'll cut through the clutter and tell you what to expect on July 6th when the Finance Minister Pradhan Mukherjee addresses the Lok Sabha. In our first episode, we look at what the budget means for your finances. Will it put more money in your pocket? To find out, we speak to our correspondent, Sanjiv Shankaran. So Sanjiv, we're standing in front of the Finance Ministry where big decisions about the budget are being made as we speak. So what's the likely approach of the Finance Minister going to be towards taxes, and what can the individual taxpayer expect?
Okay, let me set the context first. The Finance Minister is in an unenviable position. The economic growth is slowing down. Consequently, tax revenues are not growing as fast as one might have expected a year ago. Having said that, he's also in a difficult position. He's an incoming Finance Minister, but he's probably got to deliver some kind of relief to the individual taxpayer. I don't think we can expect anything radical as there was last year in terms of huge tax gains for individuals. We probably would have some kind of minor adjustment, tinkering, giving some kind of benefit to people who probably earn 5 lakh and less, or at least for the first half for incomes up to 3 lakh or 5 lakh. Very unlikely to get any benefit beyond that, and certainly not as big as last year.
And some people want the government to bring back standard deduction. How likely is that to reduce the tax burden?
Standard deduction essentially just reduces a part of your income from being counted as that part of income which can be taxed. The Council of Chartered Accountants, the auditors for both individuals and companies, have asked the Finance Minister to reintroduce standard deduction. It was taken away maybe 4 or 5 years back. If it does come in, it would make a difference for people, up to an income of, let's say, 2 lakh or more at the lower end of your tax slab, and there's some kind of relief, but not much again.
Are there going to be any new tax-saving instruments under Section 80C?
The bankers have asked for it. A few weeks ago, they met the Finance Minister and they wanted some kind of benefit under Section 80C to go to households. Right now, Section 80C has a limit of 1 lakh, which means that if you invest in designated instruments up to 1 lakh, that part is deducted from your taxable income, which means you save tax on that part. Bankers want that 1 lakh's limit to be hiked, and they want that incremental amount under 80C to go towards designated instruments which are really used to finance infrastructure, which means it will be long-term savings instruments. Very likely that we might see something there.
Industry bodies like the CII want to see the Fringe Benefit Tax eliminated. Now, how likely is that, and what are some of the complaints against the tax?
Fringe Benefit Tax is a tax on the expenses and the perquisites companies pay out. I think the original idea was to plug loopholes by which companies can possibly avoid tax. Companies pay tax on their profit, and if some things go as expenses, then they save tax. But it's a controversial tax because it apparently has led to a lot of disputes between the taxpayer and the income tax department. And there are people, even in the income tax department, whom we've spoken to in the past, who think it was probably not a great idea. I mean, execution of it is wrong. But would they remove it this year? Probably not. It doesn't contribute a great deal of tax, definitely less, just about 3% of the overall direct tax collections. But again, you send a wrong signal perhaps in a bad year if you remove Fringe Benefit Tax. I don't think it might be eliminated this year.
What about the Securities Transaction Tax, or the STT? Are there likely to be any changes, or is it likely to be removed?
Securities Transaction Tax is again a tax which conceptually some people have said is not a good idea. There was a report which came out 3 years back, not 3 years, pardon me, it was 2 years back, called a report that suggested ways to convert Bombay into an international financial center. And that report suggested transaction taxes of the nature of Securities Transaction Tax be repealed. With Securities Transaction Tax is being levied instead of capital gains, which are more difficult to collect for the government. I again think that it might eventually be phased out, but probably not in this year, because the government doesn't have too many options this year, and they need the revenue.
So there's likely to be some relief for taxpayers, but we probably won't see many radical changes.
Yeah, I think that would sum up the budget. Some relief, but no radical changes.
Okay, thanks, Sanjiv.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching LiveMint.com.